What's up, guys? We're Deep Roots Disc Golf, and today we're picking the perfect putter.
We got 24 of some of the most popular putters in the market. Thanks to our friends over at Bang & Chains for providing many of these. So we got 24 discs, 3 days, 8 discs each. Ultimate goal here, pick out the perfect putter.
Deep Roots Disc Golf.
So there's a ton of different putters on the market. We have some of your staples. We got the Lunas, the EV7s, the Judges, the things that you're most used to seeing in our videos. 24 of the most popular putters. So our goal for you is to pick out the best throwing / putting putter.
All right, so we're doing our best. We're trying to be unbiased here, but you know, we have some favorites. You know, obviously I'm gonna lean towards Trilogy. Eric's got his EV7 and Nathan's got his Discraft. So we're gonna try to be impartial though. We're gonna try to pick the best one for you guys. Obviously, we know this video is not perfect. There's so many plastics out there. We're gonna do our best to be impartial to plastic and focus on the molds, but even different plastics are flying differently. So, you know, obviously take this for what it's worth, but it should be a lot of fun. Let's pick the perfect putter.
Let's do it.
For day one, we have 8 strong contenders for the perfect putter. Make sure to leave a comment down below and tell us which putter you're rooting for. Let's talk bracket seating. We gave the 1 seed to the putter that Eric uses today, the EV7. We then used the Infinite Disc 2020 most sold putters list to seed the disc by sales volume. I'll put the link to that list down below. And finally, if the discs weren't on that list, we randomly assign them to a remaining seed.
All right, for day one, we're starting off with the 1 seed, the EV7 Penrose. And the 8 seed, the Infinite Myth. Ooh. All right, obviously, y'all know, it's been well documented, this is my favorite putter. I use this, I bag this in this plastic, the OG Soft. I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts after throwing it a couple more times. I like the EV7 a lot. Definitely for throwing more so than putting for me. When we started on hole 1, that thing just held a line like I needed it to.
Yeah, it's a beaded putter, not my favorite, but the thing I really like about the EV7 is that it is so reliably overstable. You know that as soon as that thing's going in the air, it's coming back down the ground.
You like can't turn it over.
No.
For sure. Definitely a good thrower. Great putter.
Yeah. All right, and the Myth.
All right, so the Myth. My initial thought was it was really, really deep. And that didn't sit well in my hand. That didn't work out well for me. I put with a Judge or an EMAC Judge, depending on the day. So the depth seemed like a little much. Even the flight plate just feels a little weird to me. Yeah. The way it comes up and then has that flat on top, but like, yeah, I didn't love it throwing it. It's very domy. More than anything, I feel like it was somewhat forgettable for me. Like, yeah, I don't know, I don't remember hating it, but I didn't remember like, man, that felt good coming out of my hand.
Yeah, I would say the Myth for me just didn't do it. It's another beaded putter. It's super deep, flipped up for me. It didn't have the farthest flight of the discs that we threw today. If I had to pick one, I'm going Penrose all day over this one.
Dylan? Penrose.
And the EV7 moves on. Up next,
we got the 2 seed here. We got the AVR JK, and we got this
Ace Line P Model S and Duraflex plastic here. Actually, with the Kayla LaVisca stamp on the bottom.
Ooh, an Understamp.
Yeah. Honestly, this was a tough one for me. That JK Pro AVR I was really interested to throw. It wasn't my favorite. No. I don't know what you guys' thoughts were, but the soft plastic for me, I don't do well with soft plastic. I have a pretty firm grip on the discs, so when I try to putt, the soft plastic usually sticks to my hand a little more. So it was remarkably overstable. I will say it fought out. It had some good distance for a throwing putter. I didn't love the way that it putted. All right, up against the AVR, we have the P Model S. This thing I used to throw. It's a good Prodigy putter. I know it's really popular right now. Kale and some other people throw it. I will say that after throwing in the Duraflex plastic, it was not my favorite. What are your thoughts, Dylan? I mean, up against the JK, I liked it better. But you're right, I do like the base plastic better. The base grip plastic better than I like the Duraflex plastic for a putter. What are your thoughts on these two, Nathan? Give them to us.
So my thoughts, having thrown both of these for my first time today, obviously I tend to lean away from Innova. I think I'm going to do the opposite for this one. The AVR was not my favorite disc that we threw today, but it definitely was more reliable, more stable. It flew nicely for my type of throw, which is normally on hyzer, compared to the P Model S, which turned over for me every time. So I'm gonna be voting the AVR.
Dylan?
P Model S.
I think I have to go P Model S just because I like this putter, and I feel like it's the plastic that messes with me, and we're trying to be plastic agnostic. So this is a great putter. Upset.
It is an upset.
Upset alert.
P Model S moves on.
The number one for Innova, also.
Up next,
Make a lot of people mad.
All right, next up we've got the 3-6 matchup. Coming in at the 3 seed, we have the Discraft Roach.
And then we have the Discmania Shogun.
I want to hear Nathan's thoughts. Let's go.
So I really enjoyed both these discs, honestly. The Roach to me felt like a much straighter flying Luna, something that I have never thrown before. Something that I've honestly almost bought a few times, but I never had the commitment to switch from Luna to try the Roach. So really excited that I tried that today. The Shogun, I was actually also very impressed with. The first Discmania disc I've ever thrown is the Shogun. I'm very interested to one day try the P2, but in lieu of that, we have the Shogun here. It flew pretty far. I parked a hole with it. It's a little bit shallower to me than the Roach.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of a bead, which, you know, that's not your cup of tea. I will say that, yeah, it flew really nice. It was definitely reliable. For me, I loved the way the Roach had a nice soft flip to it. For my throwing style, I enjoyed that, even though I normally throw an Overstable putter, but I just felt like it was a very like smooth flying disc. And it putted really well, really straight.
All right, Dylan, how about you start off with the vote here?
All right, my vote's the Roach.
How does that feel to pick a Discraft disc?
Terrible.
Love it.
I'm actually going Roach too. I liked it better than the Shogun.
And my vote doesn't matter, but I would be going Roach.
and the Roach moves on. Up next,
All right, so now we're at the 4 seed with the Deputy.
We have the 5 seed, which is the Axiom Proxy here. We're somewhat familiar with both of these discs. This Proxy we threw in the MVP video, and I really liked it when I was throwing in that video. Didn't have much to compare it to though, I will say. Deputy, Dylan, brand.
Yeah, it's my brand. I started out with a Deputy, I still have it, so I like it. It's definitely understable. You can get it to flip if you throw it. Putting, you know, you can get a nice little hyzer putt and it'll flip up to flat. It's got a very small micro bead, which I like. I like more beaded putters, so the micro bead helps a little bit. It's kind of shallow compared to what a Judge or a Warden would be from Dynamics, so.
I liked how shallow it was. What were your thoughts, Nathan?
Yeah, honestly, between these two, the Deputy way outshined for me. This one flipped up very nicely, flew very straight for me. I'm gonna vote the Deputy here.
Yeah, I do like the Proxy, but it's Deputy for me too.
Well, I'm gonna stick with my brand, going Deputy.
the Deputy moves on. Round 2.
All right, guys, welcome to the second round of day 1. We're here with the EV7 and
The Deputy.
all right, so the EV7, if you guys remember, beaded putter, very reliably overstable. We have today here the soft plastic. We did an entire video on EV7s. It's a fantastic disc.
So if you remember the Deputy, understable, shallow, micro bead. So this is the classic blend plastic.
So we threw these on all kinds of different lines. If you're curious about which one really holds the lines more, I would have to go with the Deputy. The EV7 is overstable. It's not going to flip for you. If you throw it on an anhyzer, it's going to fight out of it really hard, try to get to the ground. The Deputy is going to hold that turnover line. So if you throw it on a turnover, it's going to fight the rainbow down.
I actually really
Very
like
nice.
the feel of
This is going to be a tough one. The Deputy, to me today, coming into this, the most underrated disc that performed the best. But does it beat the EV7? What's your vote, Dylan?
EV7.
Nathan?
I am gonna go Deputy.
I'm going EV7. I was surprised by the Deputy. I liked that disc a lot. And I agree for a variety of situations in terms of putting it on different lines. It is really useful, but I can't go against my putter. And it's such a good thrower. Come on, Penrose is a beast of a putter thrower.
It is a good thrower.
EV7 on to the next.
The EV7 moves on to the finale. Up next,
So if you remember, this is the 3 seed. It's the Roach, shallow, no bead. It's Discraft.
Versus the 7 seed, the P Model S and the Duraflex plastic. The P Model S is a beaded putter. It's a small micro bead on the bottom. It's very flat, flatter than
very flat.
Yeah, I would put it up there with as flat as a zone almost. It does have quite the bull nose on it. The P Model S today, not my favorite personally, but for me, the Roach really surprised me. I think the Roach, with how straight it flew today, is gonna make my bag.
Dylan, thoughts?
I mean, so I was pleasantly surprised with the Roach. This one flew pretty flat for me. You know, you could put it on a little bit of a hyzer line, which I struggle to do if you watch any of my throws. But when I did, this one would fly straight for me, and I like that. The P Model S started to turn over. So in that sense, I'm gonna have to go Roach.
Eric, what's your vote?
Doesn't matter. I for what it's worth though, I will vote Roach. I really like the way that it feels. I like that it's a little bit shallower. Even though I do putt with a beaded putter, I liked the way that for my grip that the Roach felt coming out on putts, and I feel like all the throws that I had with it were really smooth. It had a really nice soft flip. So hate to go against my own brand, but
P Model S wins for best understamp. It's also the only understamp that we have. So P Model S, see ya. Roach, on to the finale.
And the Roach moves on to the finale. Final round.
Made it here to the finale. We kind of already know what the two of us are voting for, probably. We can talk it out a little bit though, you know? Let me hear your thoughts, Nathan.
Yeah, I mean, I putt with a Luna. A Luna is an overstable Roach in my opinion.
The Luna and the Roach is a great example because I think the only reason the Luna exists is because Paul didn't like the name Roach. I'll go to my grave.
The EMAC Judge.
There's certainly differences, don't get me wrong, but they're very similar in feel.
They do feel similar.
Yeah. So there's no doubt in my mind that I'm voting Roach here. The Roach also, for maybe a little bit of a wild card check mark here, $11.99 versus the EV7 that's $13.99. I mean, you can't beat price point.
All right.
Their secondary check mark here. We have to think about the variety of plastics of which a disc comes in. The EV7 comes in 4 plastics. The Roach, I'm sure of it, comes in a number of plastics. I can name 3 or 4 right off the bat.
Who cares?
You got the soft, you've got the base, you've got Bro D, you've got Big Z.
Half the time, first off, for your putter, you really only need 1 plastic for putting with. Just throwing it out there. We all use the same one.
For putting.
Okay.
For throwing?
So then you pick a different one. So how many is that? That's 2. So wait, EV7, there's 4 different kinds of plastic. So that's not even a good argument. Not a good arguing point. Second off,
choice.
This thing is incredibly versatile in the sense of how well you can throw this and how smoothly it putts. Nathan doesn't like it because it's got a bead. Tell him to get over it. I mean, come on.
The EV7 has a lot of redeeming qualities. You know exactly where it's going when you throw it, but it will only do one type of throw for you, and that's consistently hyzer out at the end. Yeah. The Roach has way more maneuverability, a lot of different types of throws that
you can find a lot of ways to miss the basket with this. This one actually hits the chains.
Depends on who throws it.
I mean, that's entirely. I will say, I was surprised with the Roach. I really like the way this feels though. I mean, I am clearly going to vote for this. I think it's an incredibly versatile putter. Also, it will not turn over. That turns over. So in terms of throwing, you can really crank on this thing, which I think is unique for a putter, and it still lands softly. Dylan, let's hear your thoughts though. Come on, get in the middle of this fun argument. Dylan doesn't like this conflict.
No, conflict is not in my nature.
What a bad place to be in.
I know. So I'm really trying to be impartial here, because my first thought was just to chuck this Discraft because it's Discraft. But for me, I need a putter that I know where it's gonna go when I throw it. You can't really forehand putters all that much. So I need something that I know is gonna be somewhat reliable, overstable, a good flyer, got a lot of glide. The EV7 had a little more glide for me. I've also thrown the firm plastic in this. Nathan wanted to talk about plastic. That had the same feel, so in the soft and in the firm, they still flew the same, which tells me it's a good mold. So therefore, I'm going EV7.
EV7 Penrose. Tune in Thursday to see if the Luna defends day 2.
So if you like what we're doing, like and subscribe down below.
leave a comment for us. Which putter would you have put in the bracket? Which putter would you have moved to the next level? We chose the EV7, but what would be your number one out of this bracket? So let us know in the comments below. Again, thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Today, we're picking the perfect putter.